details. This is just going to be raw as raw. Back up. There we go. All right, fellow WNHL 95ers. This is our Season 1 award ceremony and playoff matchups. There's going to be a little tidbit at the end for the off-season, so everybody knows what to expect. So I'm Ultra Magnus, and you got Mr. Segathon in the wonderful, wonderful Flames jersey. I don't know if that's
up, boys?
In the 80s.
It's Yager too. I made a custom Yager jersey.
Disgusting.
I know.
I guess it was hopes that he would join the Flames at one point. He's probably still can.
Yeah, he played for like, I don't know, like half a year there.
Well, we'll find out.
Like a very.
All right, so guys, we're gonna start it up. Chris Segathon, if you want to flip.
Oh yep, you got it.
So we're gonna talk about the postseason. So first we're going to do the awards, the playoff matchups, so the Prospect Cup and Bruley Cup, and then the off-season outline. So it's going to be the expansion draft, the regular draft, then free agent frenzy, which is to finalize your rosters.
All right. Ooh, look at the graphics.
No graphics.
Oh, man.
Well, minor graphics. So these are our awards for the first season, and some guys got some awards that I wasn't expecting. There's some late season heroics, but we'll start with the Brick Wall Award.
All right.
So Brick Wall Award is going to be basically given to the goaltender with the best goals against average. And right now it was Ed Belfour. So no, that's fine. That's fine. That's how it's going to show up. It's going to show up in blue. Oh, press backspace.
There we go.
There. So Belfour finished with 13 shutouts, 31 wins, and a 176 goals against average. And Brodeur wasn't too far behind. It's just the reason why he didn't win it was because of the wins and the shutouts. And I think rightfully so, that should have gone to a guy who had 13 shutouts in the league record. So
he's got the number one pedigree too. He was the number one pick. So
true.
You know that's
true.
That's another big thing about it. He's the number one pick. He gets that kind of stuff. Okay, it keeps moving on me, so we're just gonna
stop moving your mouse. Stop moving your mouse. Okay. You got the pause and play button. Keep that in play. So next is our Sniper Award. This has been highly touted for the whole season. I think Highland Wolf is basically Brett Hull all the way. Selfish hockey, I'd say.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then the midget, Peter Klima, comes out of nowhere. And Gary Roberts, but the award's actually going to be split this year because Hull and Klima both had 79.
Let's see if I can let's hit the play button here, and I think it might go to that. Let's see. Still working out the text on that. You know, Peter's so short they wouldn't give him the second E in his name.
Well,
that's why they.
You got to think about it too. If there was a pedestal or like the podium, he would even if he was in first place, he'd still be in third.
And that's that 95. The minor weight bug compared to the 94 weight bug. But if you're little and light, you get a little extra jump on it.
Well, it's funny because on the screen you don't see him ducking below players, but maybe between their legs. But next award is the TOUCHY Cup. This is given to the defenseman who has the most assists and also the goals against average. So this was a combination. I hated to give it basically the top defenseman who would have probably been the most points for the defenseman, but we're giving it to the defenseman who actually had the best goals against average, so protecting your net, and also got the most assists in combination together. And that award winner goes to Vladimir Balakov of the Cologne Hein. He had 30 assists and 1.48 goals against average for Brodeur. Whereas Highland Wolf would have been second with Gary Suter, but his goals against average was over 2.
Oh, I'm booing this. Suter, if you played Highland Wolf, you remember Suter on the ice because he skates around with him so much.
Well,
dominates the game.
The funny thing is, Lysician, I don't know how he got on the list, and the only reason why he got on there is because he's scoring points. But when you're playing the backhander special or around nets with McLean, yeah. So Lysician's probably just passing it up around the boards, and then somebody's picking it up and dumping it in.
That's exactly. That's because it's funny. I just played Hines, and I don't remember much about getting hit by him. But when I played the Wolf, Suter was all over. I kept on going, damn, Suter's better than I remember because he's kind of overshadowed on that powerful Chicago team. So
That's what happens when you push down the pipe.
Yeah.
So then the next award goes to the Gadget Award. The Gadget Award's given to the player who had the most power plays and short-handed points. Surprisingly, this was a split again. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. But Robert Reichel with 19 and Joe Sakic with 19. So surprisingly, it was a split award again. And Olin Nolan, he got shafted, but whatever. He's the type of player you probably ran out of steam down the line. So, and Robert Reichel on the R&R Railroad with the other R. So the triple R threat basically pumped in the points and got the special teams going.
Yeah, Reichel's my favorite player in the game. He's not that fast, but he's just so shifty he can hit it. But yeah, I remember I played against you guys, and Sakic and Nolan definitely were big parts of the game. Like I remember playing those guys, and I'm just so surprised that they both, Nolan and Sakic, are actually on there because they're not even rated wise the best players on their team by far.
No,
but
and the fun thing I did about it too is that the award ceremony, I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? There's still like 35 games left. I said, you know what? I'm gonna hide the awards on the tab so nobody would see it. So nobody got a wind of what was going on, and anytime I wanted to check it, I had to see if anybody else was on the Google sheet when I popped it out. So,
that's funny.
Our next one, this is probably my favorite award just by looks and presentation, the Street Fighter Cup. And this is given to the player with the most penalty minutes. Too bad we don't have fighting in 95, but this year, another split. Midget Theron Fleury and the Swedish Gentleman with Nicholas Lindstrom, both with 27 penalty minutes. Luke Robitaille was at 25.
Wow, that's a lot because Dinkelberg didn't play a few games at the end, so
yeah,
he could have got it if he
could have won this one.
Yeah, he could have. Theo's my favorite player as a kid. He was a little big man, so I'm happy to see.
He was a flame.
Yeah.
So
exactly. Because that's the whole thing. Like, we had the North Stars, but, they left when we were, I think, in 91, so then I had to pick a new team after that, and the Flames were the team for me.
I'm surprised you didn't go as the Jets, but whatever.
Yeah, well, luckily I would have got my heart broke, because then they left a couple years later.
Well, it got my heart broken, and then I've always been a Habs fan, but then Jets,
really?
Jets was always my favorite. Why do you think I made my first overall Solani?
Dang right.
So our next award is the Royal Flush Trophy. So this is given to the player who had the most points, the league leader of them all. And it was a hard fought to the end, but Peter Klima pulted out 109 points. And I think it has to do a lot with his stoutness, speed, and surprisingly, he's actually really good in the game. Underrated.
Yeah.
But Brett Hull and Sakic, I think they lost their mojo. Those Philly boys gotta stop pumping out the points right away, and then you gotta coast.
Yeah, it's like in King Rap, his thumbs are just ninja thumbs because he plays so much in '94 that he's just getting better and better at '95. And again, I have a bounty. Whoever knocks him out of the playoffs, I'm giving you $69 because we can't have a '94 guy win our '95 league at least the first year, guys.
No, that ain't gonna happen. And surprisingly, when we get to the playoff matchups, I'm kind of titillated about some of these matchups, but we'll find out. Our next one was a late addition for the awards. It's called the Game Theory Trophy, and normally coming with statistics, there's always probabilities, percentages. Save percentages come involved as well. And we gave it to the goaltender that had the best save percentage, Martin Brodeur with an .867. And it just seemed to make so much sense to have this trophy in there. And Guy Hebert, the only reason why he didn't win it, you're splitting time with Kelly Rudy, you're not going to win it. And we're not doing the Jennings trophy here.
Kelly Rudy's pushy. He wanted to get in there.
Join CBC or CBS or whatever you want.
It's a bad locker room, but Hines, he's good at that goalie control, which adds a lot. And then just seeing Ed Belfour in there just shows how much the high-rated goalies do help.
I was slightly tempted to put Belfour in the MVP for the Royal Flush Trophy.
Yeah, because I know at least in the beginning, Renfrew they weren't LHX. He wasn't doing goalie control, so that's all just Eddie stopping those things, which is huge. Because it sucks trying to get over to goalie quick enough, and with Eddie you don't have to do that.
And everyone's gonna have mixed mixed opinions about, oh, user goalie works well. Well, user goalie works well if you're going to user them all the time. I prefer to float in the middle and bang anybody who hits the middle. But this one here,
exactly.
Disregard the blue, the Aftershock Cup. This is just a foregone conclusion. It's going to Aftershock. And the guy helped everybody in the league to set up. The guy helped everybody. I don't know who in the league wasn't helped by him, and this league would not have happened without him. That's
and
flat out the answer.
It was amazing because Aftershock kind of reminds me of a abused pit bull, but then you realize he doesn't bite anybody. He just barks a lot, and he does a lot of help. And then he bit the burglars that were trying to break into your house. So yeah, no, he was awesome, just totally awesome. Spent hours with him.
Yeah, the guy has a passion like no other that's comparable in the league. I know that some guys have some tempers, but fuck, when he starts talking about cock balls, your mother's a cunt, and all that other stuff, it just makes things a lot easier.
Yeah.
So our next trophy is our Classic Cup, and this is given to the team with the best record. And I don't think we have to even ask this. And this is where Nick has put the bounty on everybody. King Raph must fall.
Yeah. King Raph, great guy, great human, but fuck him, right? Yeah. Just fuck him.
But this is the funny thing about it as well, is that I love King Raph. You want to know why? Because our Season 2 is going to be so much faster. He created an extractor from the save states. So it basically, from me doing every single box score and Heinz helping out while I was on vacation, took about, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes per box score, and I was manually entering everything. This is now just copy, paste, pop. Here, all the stats are going to roll up. I've already done the schedule for Season 2. I've done the standings for Season 2. They've all been automated. The players' stats are going to be through a Teams page. So everyone's going to have their team on one page, but if you click your team icon on the home page, it's going to bring you right to the section of your team in that page. And then the league leaders and player stats are going to be feeded automatically as well. So there's going to be no delays wondering, oh, when are you going to do the standings? Well, the standings are done already.
No, that's awesome. And like I said, everybody, we all appreciate you, man, for getting this, doing all that data work, because it's a ton, just a ton.
Well, put it this way, it would have been for naught if anybody would have been not playing their games. But everybody, surprisingly, we're one game shy of the end of the season. I think the whole league played probably about 430 games. That's minus forfeits and 3 teams stepping away, and then 1 team unsure what the hell is going on. And you know what? Season 2 is a little bit more hammer, let's say. So if you're not going to play your games, it's fine. You don't have to play your games. There's not going to be like a set timeline to get your games in and get things done. But at the same time, too, if you start saying, no one wants to play me, but you know what, and you leave the server, it doesn't help everybody else either.
Yeah, no, and just a testament, we all love 95, even the 94 guys, because, it's the end of summer. Most of us are northern boys that are, where winter's coming on. So it shows that we love 95 enough to trade in the last few weeks of summer to play 95.
Well, there you go. Well, this is the start of Season 2 in some ways, the second season.
All right.
So we're going to get into the fun part. This is our WNHL 95 playoff matchup. There's 1 game left, and there's still 2 seeds that need to be classified, but I'm doing it as a projection. So Mike Vick EBC, he's playing against me. No, he's playing against McLean, and Wolf is playing against me. This is a hypothetical, those 2 matchups. But if Mike Vick wins his game, he plays, I think he's going to end up playing, and McLean is going to play the Wolf. So you're going to have Philly boys matching up in the first round if it's pulled out.
Oh, they got to play then on the big screen outside if that happens.
Oh, and it's going to have to be live.
Yes, for sure.
All right, so this is something that's been mentioned a lot of times. We're going to have a playoff etiquette. This is no going around it. Nobody's going to complain about certain things. This is what it is. So the game will be hosted to edit your lines, but that's why I asked everybody if you needed to send in your starting lineup so I can put the playoff ROM together. If required, then the joiner would do the same. After basically the away team or the joiner would go to the start game part and wait for the first player or the host to press start. Test a 1-minute period if there's any issues occurring. Segathon has mentioned a shootout could work too, but maybe that might be a lag a bit if you get out of the menu and then go back into a new game. That might be a lag. I have no idea. I haven't tested either one of them, but you can do either one, but communicate together. Any noticeable glitches must be mentioned immediately. So if you notice in the first 30 seconds to a minute, there's an issue, take the puck, go into the neutral zone and pause. Don't wait around for like, oh, I'm going to wait until the game starts lagging, pause it, and then like rage quit. So basically, keep the voice discussion, like how we're doing me and Segathon right now, we're just talking. That's how you guys would do your game, but through your phone. Do your DM or PM, whatever you want to call private message or direct message, or get into the neutral zone and press pause and then communicate, saying, hey, you know what, it's really laggy, let's try something else. If you accept the lags and glitches, say, you know what, it's not too bad, let's play it through. You have to accept it regardless of the outcome. Regardless of what happens, you accept it. You can't say, no, well, it's lagging in the second period. Well, if you got into the second period, you should finish the game. There shouldn't be any delays. I don't want to be firing with a fist and then people bouncing around and people getting upset because games are not being finished. You're gonna accept the forfeit, or you just play it through. So sort it out. If we have some designated people to host the game so that there is no issues, I think Pink Elephants, G-Lock, Wolf, I don't know who else has got really good feeds, but those guys can help support if they wanted to. And then last resort, get a third person to host, which is like what we just mentioned. But the same rules apply. If there's a glitch during that, and if you guys are on Twitch and the crowd doesn't see any glitches, and if you say it's glitching, it's understandable. Make a video, and then we'll be able to see it. But at the same time, too, I think a lot of people are going to be paying attention to the playoffs. We're only 16 teams in. All right.
Yeah, no, it's 100%, and you know, this is for fun, and you know, legs happen a little bit too. You're not going to have a perfect stream all the time, and sometimes the legs are going to happen at a bad spot. I mean, I play other online games, and this game I know leg can be. It's such a fast-paced game that a leg can really change it. But part of the game too, playing online, we all can't get together in our garage. I'd love to, but so let's try to keep it positive, because over leg glitches stuff, that the league ain't going to last long with that kind of stuff.
No, it's not. So. And I love doing the stats. I would almost take to a point of bowing out of the league so I can just focus on the stats. But my Cyclones must continue. So
yes,
the next page, Segathon. So this is the Prospect Cup. So all rounds are best of 5, no matter what. If there's a 5th game required, you'll play a 10-minute game period. I know it's long. Beat the guy so you don't have to play that 10-minute period. So right now the Dusters versus the Brampton Smoke. It's a forfeit, so the Smoke advance.
I lost that. Shit.
Come again?
Oh, the Dusters. Oh no.
Why?
All right, I'll be.
What?
Because I just, it was great odds, 800 to 1. The Dusters were gonna win it all.
Well, they can't win the Prospect Cup, so
yeah,
shit out of luck. Next one, Firebirds versus the Pit Intramurals, a forfeit, because Einstein is not playing in the season. Even though he's put his protected list, he's got his own things that he's dealing with, so he's going to play in Season 2, but regardless, it'll be a forfeit through. The only game actually for this Prospect Cup that's actually still in the first round is the Hartford Hot Jets. So Leviathan's going to play his playoff game against the Dinkleberries. So I project Hartford Leviathan and the Hot Jets are going to win in 5.
It's going to be close. So I watched a few of the Jets games, and he's like just a split second behind, or split, you know, like just a little off on all the stuff. He's got it all down. He just hasn't. I think he's one of those guys that has to adjust to online play.
And I think he's the type of guy that once he does, watch out. Watch out. He beat me. He beat me, and it was a really hard fought game.
Yeah. And then Dinkelberg, I mean, who's like one of the top 3 guys in the league. So
he's an enigma. He's an enigma. That's what I chalk him up as. But then the last one is Troy City Titans and the Golden Seals.
And I think Dinkelberg is actually Mark Lesser, who made the game. I'm pretty sure. I've been checking IPs.
He hates
pretty
gingers, so we know what's going on. So, and then we have the Troy City Titans against the Golden Seals. That's a forfeit. The Titans advance. So right now, Adolf Oliver Nipples could play Aftershock if they wanted to play their second round game. You guys can start your round if you want. once Hartford and Daleberry's finish their round, you guys touch out to Gambini and play your round, and then whoever the winner of that wins the first overall pick. So that's the incentive. You might be the worst teams in the division, the conference, or the league. It's not because of your gameplay or anything like that. You still have a chance to be able to make some changes and getting the first overall. We have some fancy players coming in. I think Mr. Fosbug is coming in, and another midget, but a very good midget in Paul Correa.
Yeah. Well, no, this will be fun. I hope I can see some of these Prospect Cup games because, like the Brantford Smoke, he took one from me. He's got all the fundamentals.
Yeah, he does.
Even Aftershock did the prettiest shootout goal I've ever seen in this. He fake shot on me and then shot it the other way. And I totally went for it.
His whole issue was, and I've seen him play his games. So I had my head-to-heads with him. All he had to do was move Francis to center.
Oh, okay.
That's all he had to do. And once he moved Francis to center, all his games were a lot tighter. He wasn't giving up as many goals, and he was being more competitive. So I think it's just some adjustments for him, and then once he gets that, he's going to be a dangerous team as well. So
right.
First matchup in the Bruley Cup in the East is going to be this is going to be a fun one. So G-Lock and the Pensacola Ice Flyers and Anaheim Ducks from King Raff, they split their season series 1-1. Both games were 2-1 wins. You can see the point differential. I didn't put G-Locks in there, but I think his was 46. And minus 23 goals against the difference. So there's a 100-point swing in goals between these two teams. And almost the same amount for their top goal scorer. So everyone is breathing a sigh of relief because they don't have to play G-Lock. Because that guy was on fire.
Yeah, he went from... He was like, oh, that's nice, he's playing with us, he doesn't know what he's doing, to like, I played a game with him, and like, every single shot Juno put up went in, and I was like, what is going on? Yeah, he's dangerous, and, I think he probably would have upset most guys in the league, going best of 5, but he has to fight the juggernaut, the 94, but he's got $64, $69 come from him if he can beat the big man, King Raff.
And the big thing is about it, too, is that this reminds me of the Toronto Maple Leafs Montreal Canadiens playoff series this past Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
He's against the odds. He has nothing to lose. Just go out and show. You might beat him in 5. This is going to be a fun series to watch if this is a live stream. So.
Yes.
So the next one in the East is going to be our 7 and 2 seed. And I think this one hits home for Segathon.
Yes, this is... These are two of the Segathon brethren. They very similar. That they're both teachers as well, so they always team up as the teachers union when we play like doubles or Ryder Cups and stuff. They always want to be together. It's going to be close. I mean, like I said, Blair is the reigning Segathon champ and is kind of has been the top guy the last couple of years at our Segathons. And he started hot, but then kind of went down. And Sammy Smith, Chris, went the opposite way. He wasn't doing too hot in the beginning and then has really turned it on. So I think it's going to go 5 games for sure.
Well, I think Richfield's going to take it just because of the performance of the season. But that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
I've seen Sammy basically, he's been getting hot as of late, and where we've been seeing Brandon kind of slide back a bit. Like, you know what? He was like 34-3, and then he lost like 3 of his last 5 games. So it's going to be some interesting things.
It's the big note, too, for Blair, who's the Oracles guy. We called him the Susan Lucci of Segathon because he'd always have the best record in the regular seasons through, like, the 20 years we've been playing, but he never won a championship till 2 years ago, till he was, like, when he was, like, 41. We've been playing since it came out. So he can choke. He's got a very skinny throat. So we'll see.
Well, we saw it at the tailgate party, so we know what's going to happen there.
Yes, exactly.
So our next one, this is a hypothetical matchup. And the only reason why it's a hypothetical, it's all pending based on the matchup tonight with Hines and Mike Vick. So we're projecting that it's Mike Vick against the Shithawks. We're just going to say that it happens. I don't want to get into details about it, but let's just say it does. So Mike Vick, you know what? This is probably going to be a fun matchup for the one thing. I think there's going to be a lot of talk. You have McLean, who just basically says, play your game, doesn't matter how I score, you can't beat me, don't play me, I'm going to beat you, and whatever else that I want to do. And then Vic is just going to trash talk the shit out of you but he backs it up. So I don't know. This is going to be another one of those fun series to see and see how this rivalry breaks up in the next few seasons.
Yeah, this is the one that I said that I gotta shut the door. The family's coming home. That's what the networks want. This is, I mean, Klein. You know, he's like me, where he manages the Segathon, his own Segathon, Highland Avenue, and he knows what he's doing, and he does a lot of cut across. But the problem is like, even if you stop 80% of them, he's still going to score 4 goals on you. You know.
Why do you think he's got 3.5 goals per game average?
It's hard to stop consistently. And then Vic, he is so shifty. I was watching him against Anthony today. I was remarking at his dekes. He's a super deke guy. And when we were playing, he did a couple like triangle one-timers like around the net, like three sharp passes, and my guys were all over. So he's got the O-show. But it'll be interesting because I think Klein is the best non-goalie defense in the league. Even though he's got a lot of offense, he just doesn't do much for goalie control. So it's going to be fun games.
And you know what the funny thing is? Mike Vick gives you the O face. Oh. So we're gonna find that out. But I think the Shithawks take it in 5.
Yeah, it's going to be close. It's going to be close.
So our last matchup of the East. This one makes me feel a bit weird. The only reason why it makes me feel a bit weird, the Kings, the Creamery Kings, I don't know if LHX just got cold because he played a lot of games really quick and just got cold and couldn't get a streak together. But and then the same thing with Autobahn. He got hot at the right time. Like he started the season, I think it was 4-9. He's just turned on the jet since then. So it's been like the whole league's basically been a tale of 2 seasons. Like you got the first half, you had all these like high risers, and you're like, wow, okay, this league's gonna be a little harder than we thought. And then all those teams, including myself, dropped off, and then all the other teams just came flying up. So I don't know if it's playing the numbers or whatever it may be, but this series here, it's gonna come down to Belfour. And that is it. That is it. I'm not taking anything away from Gary Roberts, and I don't know why I have Doug Gilmore on there. It should be Gary Roberts. Sorry, LHX. But it's going to be Belfour. Belfour is going to be the deciding factor, and shovel him right into the dumpster, in my opinion.
Yeah, he talking with Brandon. He hates the goalie. He really wishes he would have drafted a better goalie.
I think he
it's going to be really tough.
Can I pick up a goalie in free agency?
Yeah, because like I play, I played Brandon, the Autobahn guy, more than almost anybody else in the whole world, and he's probably beat me the most times as anybody in the whole world. And he's just a real steady player for the most part. He's always in our top group. So he just texted me and says, "What's a Belfour? Ringing up goals." So he's ready to take Belfour down.
Well, that's go get him, Brandon. All these series are gonna be fun, regardless of what happens. I think it's just that all the trash talk through the whole season with everybody. Now put it on the table. Could you win a cup?
Yeah, and then just a quick talk about LHX. He learns a lot. Like I played the first couple games with him and kind of exploited some weaknesses, and then we started playing some X's, and he kind of figured me out. So he's a guy. Brandon, don't play any X's before because he adapts. He's like a velociraptor.
Why do you think Dingleberg was starting to turn it on late? Because he is X's. But you know what? Fair enough. The guy's a good player, and some people think he's crap. But you know what? It's styles. That's all it is. Does your style match up well with somebody else? So that's all.
Yeah, and I think we're talking a lot about these guys, but LHS, I think he was the first guy that I played who did a lot of the dump into the boards, which can really throw you off if you're not ready for that dump play.
Yeah. And that's the thing is when playing against Brandon, his team is so finicky. I hate Shanahan. I hate him. Yeah. I hate Fleury because he's basically like a miniature scoring machine of Ty Domi. Because he will hit you and score at the same time. So our next series we got is the first one in the West. is the Cloran High with Heinz and the Minnesota Moose with Gaelic Gopher. This one here, it was the only series, I think, between the two matchups that was a blowout in the regular season. I think it was 11-1 score differential. And Corey Millen he's another type of player that you kind of wonder, like, why isn't his team better? And he has the right amount of players. I think maybe he's just missing a high-end talent on the wing. But I don't know. You've played him as well as a lot of times with Judd, so you can kind of give a little bit more intel. Selling insurance doesn't go a long way when you don't have any insurance goals.
Yeah, it's like, so, you know, I just got done playing Heinz, and he got me, so I'm a little sore on those still. But I'll tell you, with Judd, the Moose, like, he's like one of the top guys in our league in Drunken League. He's always winning, so he's had a real trouble with this online play thing. So I'm interested to see if he can get a little confidence and if he's on a good connection, because I think this is a lot closer than the first two games will be, because when he gets cooking, and plus he fucking can't use Corey Millen all the time. It's his favorite guy, but he's got 4 better players on the team than Corey Millen that he should be using.
And the bad thing is about it too, Corey Millen, he retires soon, so you better find another player that you're gonna like.
Yeah, exactly.
And for Heinz, I only can say good things about Heinz. His one issue, lag. So the thing is, though, is he's probably the best manual goaltender in the league. Like, I played him, I don't know, 7 times the other night, and his fucking manual goaltenders. Like, the only way you could beat him is with a surprisingly one-timer, or I'm going to call it the McLean wraparound, because he's the only guy that uses it as much as anybody else, and there's not many ways you can beat him. And Heinz was similar to AFTERSHOCK, but since he's Canadian, so he's going to be a little nicer about it, is that he says fucking bullshit instead of saying your mother's a cunt. So
yeah, no, I think he's got the stat for. I think every time I scored a goal on him, I think I got a leg complaint. But he beat me, so
either way, he's a passionate Canadian. All
right, what's the
next one? Is the Sumter Trash and the most vocal guy on Discord, and Teabaggers. Yes, honestly, man, I love you. I love your commentary. I love it. It's Jack Horner, Chess Rockwell, Brock Landers, and Amber Waves. I don't know if you got who's the guy who was not John C. Reilly, Philip Seymour Hoffman. You like my car? You like my car? You want to go? Come take a car? That's how it took me a while. That's what it seems like with Teabaggers. Like, oh, a message. You want to talk a message? Here's a message. Come see my message.
Yeah, it took me a while. At first, I didn't get the whole Boogie Nights thing for a little bit. I'm like, Brock Landers. I'm like, who's Brock? And I'm like, oh, Dirk Diggler's the character within the character, and then all the other ones. So that's pretty good. Yeah, pretty good stuff.
I love that one that we had a banter back and forth. And he's like, have you been sniffing glue, Commissioner? And I'm like, yeah, I was with that roller girl in the back alley kind of thing. So, actually onto the series. Teabaggers and Sumter Trash. Pink Elephants is that other oddity. Started the season hot and then kind of tailed off. Same thing with Troy Hill. It's like he's if there's anybody a threat in the West, it's him. If anyone can get to the finals, it will be him. Not because of Bondra. I just think it's his overall play. He's really tight on the boards. Every time I played him, he beat the shit out of Golden Boy, and that he took away my golden boy. But he's on the trade block right now, so.
Yeah, it's I would say these two, like I said, the Trash, they were doing really well in the beginning and kind of faded. I think he needs to focus on Bure a little bit more because he's just so good in the game. And then the Teabaggers, that's where that speed comes into the game at the end of the day. Somebody's but yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, that speed, like the Teabagger swept me, and I kept on getting run down from behind. He was the first team because my team's pretty fast, but he would catch me and I got so many times where I got the check in the back and could never get that breakaway goal because he just kept.
Yeah, he got everyone going. This is gonna be my favorite series to watch. The next one.
Yeah,
this one I will watch. If this one is posted, everything else is put on pause for this series. Segathon's mullets against Halifax and the Schooners. I don't know if he's gonna be drinking any screech on the way in, but Halifax is that one team. He's that 94 guy. He's been putting it together in 95. Yep. I don't know what will happen if he's got a good goalie.
Yeah.
Kirk McLean's not going to carry you to a championship at Halifax. I'm sorry, but that's the Russian Rocket with his vodka. It might give you some extra goals in there, but 52 is not going to hack it. 52 points is not going to hack it.
Yeah, it's that's the whole thing though. But there's something that happens, and that's what that manual goalie can do is. It's not even that it's unstoppable, but it messes up your mojo. It's like a golf swing. Like we've played this game so long that when you're doing a one-timer or a cut across or a deke, it's like hardwired into your head. And then when you see that manual goalie star pop up, you just like forget what to do sometimes.
It pisses me off.
That's what
it pisses me off. And like you started doing that in our game, and I was just like, "What the hell's he doing?"
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the guys in the league are just not comfortable with somebody manually goaltending because 95, since there was so much speed, it's all based on one-timers. It's all about positioning. And I've played 94, and 94, I fucking hate when guys go along not along the boards, but through the neutral zone, down through where the face-off center is, and do a slight juke. You put your goalie's double pad stack, and he always puts it in. Like, how is he putting it in?
Yeah.
In this game, you do a double pad stack, you're stopping it. I'm sorry, but unless you're Sammy Smith and you're throwing the puck all the way down the ice and flipping it over the goalie's shoulder and in, like manual goaltenders are they're going to become a bit more of the norm. And then the mullets, Nick, you're a fucking solid player, and we have your triple R threats, and you put one of them exposed, so I'm kind of you're breaking up the boys.
Yeah, it's a little bit. It was hard. It was like my last matchup I played. My guys, they weren't communicating because I'm not a frantic player. I kind of walk it up the ice and just kind of wait for the opportunity. And they weren't talking. I was waiting for my guys to be in spots, and they weren't there, and it was frustrating. So I hope we're all going to go to Chuck E. Cheese tonight. And
there you go. There you go. Next series and the last one of the playoff matchups, the Highland Wolf and my Cyclones. So the one thing is that we both were hot at the beginning of the season. We both tailed off. But the big thing is the Wolf is that one guy I don't want to play him. I don't want to play him. Our two games was like complete opposite ends of the spectrum. It's the same thing against any of the guys that are the top guys in the league. I get my one game blowout, and then they get one blowout on me. I'm just like, this game is going to 5, and right now I think the Highland Wolf will beat me, and it's mainly because fucking Brett Hull, Wendell Clark, and Stefan Richer. I think my Achilles heel is gonna be Tony Amonte, but I might have to bring in Bobby Holik or Sean McEachern or Stu Barnes. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I love Highland Wolf's style of play. He's almost like a knuckleballer. He does a little, I don't want to give away too much of the scouting, but he goes around and does those slappers, and then he gets the one-timers too. It's fun to watch and play against because it's different than his Highland buddy Klein, who's doing the cut acrosses. Highland Wolf is a more refined game, which I appreciate. And it's beautiful because he drafted all the right guys. He drafted all big slappers because you can't do that with a lot of guys. Like you need to have that big slapper to pull those shots off.
And that's going to be the interesting thing when the drafts come up and the expansion guys for Sean, Nathan, and Elias. I'm curious to see who they're going to poach from who. What research did they do to be able to find out? And I noticed that they purged the shit out of the two disbanded teams. There's nobody left on those teams.
And then you, the Cyclones, they you're such a nice guy, but you have a very aggressive style of play where you're kind of down your throat, checking in one-timers. So it's probably the least style I hate. That's the style I hate the most. Is just the super aggressive check where you can't have any time to think because you're somebody's on you the whole time. So it'll be. I still think you have a little bit of what Judd's got going on, is where Olin Nolan's your big guy, and Timo should be your focal point. I think if Timo had Olin Nolan's
Slapper.
shots, you'd probably have 6 more wins.
But you know what the funny thing is? I looked at Solani's stats for 96, 97. That slapper starts coming.
Oh.
I might actually even maybe tweak my everyone. We're going to get into that discussion at the end of this when I talk about the draft, because I need to be clear about this when we get into it. So our next slide, off-season moves. So this is after
Right.
this is
boy. This is the big show. This is the real show. This is where the fun starts.
This is where the fun starts, and this is where I don't want anyone to kind of be like, well, you didn't tell me. There's a video. We have proof. And if you didn't get it, that's your problem, and you deserve to lose. So, sorry to be blunt, but that's just how it's going to be. So, expansion draft. We've allowed the 3 expansion teams to choose their 6 first players from disbanded teams in free agency. So, their next 6 players are going to be selected from everybody's team. So, everybody, when I asked you protect 6 players, it didn't matter the combination. If you wanted to protect both your goalies and 4 defensemen, you could have just said 6 players. Segathon did that. He actually went with 6 players. And I think there's 2 other guys who went with 6. But most of the people went with 3 forwards, 2 defense, 1 goalie. Some guys went 4 forwards, 1 defense, 1 goalie, probably protecting a prospect. But in this one here, every team's going to expose their 6 players. Only one player from each team can be selected. Nobody is going to lose more than 1. If the player...
Oh.
Go ahead.
That's good having just one player, so you don't just get totally.
Yeah, you don't totally get purged. So everybody's going to have their 1 pick. So if Sean from the Thunder Bay Pike takes somebody from, say he takes, is it Ranheim that you exposed, or Rowning?
Oh, Ranheim, but he's going to take. I'm already regretting it. He's going to take Dave Ellett.
Okay, so if he takes Ellett, then you would get compensated for that loss. So any team who loses a player gets compensated with a 3rd round pick. So you technically will become 4 picks. But it will be at the end of the 3rd round. So it's kind of like the NFL. You're compensated for a player more because you lost more than you gained in the offseason. This is where trades begin. You can trade at this point of the season. So I know Heinz, and me and him do a simulation league. He's going to be wheeling and dealing. I even got the most absurd trade offer from the Highland Wolf. He says, "What would it take for me to get Solani from you?" And I said, "You're going to have to put up the value." He offered me. I was insulted. I was insulted with what he said. Gordon Murphy, and who else was the other player? I can't even remember who the other player was. But I felt insulted. He wanted my 2nd best defenseman in Solani for Gordon Murphy and some other bum.
Terrible.
I'm like, is that you, Highland?
No, it's Klein. That's a terrible offer.
It is a terrible offer. How dare he? I told him right away, flat out. I don't remember the wording I used, but it was like somebody saying, "Here, I'll give a puck of used bags." Or a bag of used pucks and give me Solani. I'm like, yeah, okay, Solani's a rookie like 2 years ago. So, not happening. I'm sorry, Wolf, but come back with something that's valuable. Give me Brett Hall and maybe we can talk. So, so the next one is the regular draft. So this is where it becomes interesting. Prospect Cup winner is going to be getting the number 1 overall pick. That's why we're having that tournament. So right now it's between Dingleberries, Leviathan, Gamby, Adolf, and Troy City. So whoever wins that, they get the 1st overall. Then it's going to be the 3 expansion teams. In the order that I've listed them there. They've already had a discussion between the 3 of them of like what the orders are going to be and everything. So I'm cool with that because they've all in agreement of it. Then the next one is 5th to 9th is the worst records of non-playoff teams. So it will go based on your record. If you're the worst team of the remaining teams that got eliminated in the 1st round, you basically get the pick before everybody else. Then it goes from the 10th to 17th, which is all the teams that got eliminated in the first round of the Bruley Cup. Then the same thing again for the second round, the third round, and then the finals. You have the Bruley Cup finalists, and then the champion picks last. So we're 25 teams. We're up 1 from last year.
And is it no snake on this draft then,
this is
right?
no snake. Yeah, if you're the first overall winner, he becomes number 1 in the second round. So basically, if he wants to package his end of his first, if he wants to package his second round pick, which is the first overall in the second round, or the 26th overall, and his third, I want to move up. Like, you can do it. That's where the trades. But trades must be 1 for 1. It's not anything of like, 3 picks for 1 pick kind of thing. Each team gets 3 picks. First, second, and third, plus their compensation pick from the expansion draft. No trades for future picks. So you can't trade season 2 picks for season 3 picks. Because the important thing is what I'm going to say next. Teams must choose not to make a pick, make the statement boost. So if you're up on the thing, you say, I want a boost. You have to list the player you want that boost for. So for me, an example I just mentioned, Solani, he doesn't have a big slapper. But I said, you know what? I want to increase his shot power by 1 attribute. I could use a draft pick on that. But then I lose the draft pick, but Solani has his slap shot power increased by 1. I showed this to Halifax. If you got one guy who's got, I think slap shot their powers are a 2+ rating. So if he's a 77, he goes to a 79. But then he's got a stronger slap shot. So use your draft picks in that way as well.
When you say, let me clarify something here. When you say that, you're talking about like the hex coding of it, right? So like, because you know how, and maybe I'm misunderstanding it, because like when we did that sheet last year, well, I changed it to letters to make it a little more easier to understand, and now this year it's numbers. So like a 6.
6 is the highest.
In that is like, and that's at like an A+. That's like a 99 overall.
Correct.
And then a 5 is like a 98 speed to 88 or something, right?
It's 89 to 98. And then you have 66, I think, or 65 to 81 is a 4.
Yeah.
So basically, if you see your player's got 6, don't even bother using the attribute. But the thing is if you got a guy, you're like, you know what, like for you, if you wanted to say, you know what, I needed to have Ranheim to have more speed, which is unreal to think that your team needs more speed, but more of a passing accuracy. Maybe that's for, like, say, Leviathan, who is just missing that little bit of pass accuracy he needs. That player he can give a boost to. So if you're thinking, my team is perfect, I don't want to change anything, you could use all 3 of your picks for boosts, but it's only associated 1 pick per boost per player. So you can't put 2 boosts on them.
So in theory, so if you had a guy that was like 81 speed and was like a 3 rated, if you gave it a boost on speed, he could go up and he could touch 98 sometimes, correct?
So like he would go from say say he's an 81. He's an 81 to say a 98, but you're saying, what, I want him, or he's a 65 or whatever, he's a 4-star, and you want him to go to a 5-star.
Yeah.
You can give him a 5-star on it, that'll sit the whole season, and then at the end of the season, his rating changes anyways because of the 97 rating. You lose that rating, but you can use the pick next year to do the same thing again. So think of it as that as like a training point in a way.
Yeah.
So,
but in theory, the last thing I'm going to say, just to clarify, it's like 1 point in the game, but in the actual code of the game. But when you look at stats, you're getting probably a 10 to 12 rating attribute.
Yeah. So if you're getting
correct?
an attribute is 73 and you boost it by 1, you go to a 90 something. His player rating can go from like a 64 to a 73. So you look at a player who might be lower in the ranks. Those free agent frenzies are going to be important because then you can use those draft picks potentially. And the boosts are only used for 1 season. That's all.
And 1 per player, right? You can't boost a guy 3 times.
Say, you know what, I got 5 players and they all want to give them a boost. No, you need 5 draft picks to do that. Yeah. And you can't have 5 draft picks. So you're only going to have 3 plus any compensation picks, which you could trade those if you want.
Can you use compensation picks as a boost?
No. Well, yeah.
No. So you get 3
boosts. Yes, you can. You can use it. But if you're going to trade it to move up because there's a specific player, yes, you can use it. Go ahead. Because you know what? You lost the player and you're getting a pick. Why would it be something special for a compensation one? Let's keep it consistent.
Okay.
All right.
Because I guess that in theory you could say the first round pick has more power than the third round pick, but they each give a boost. So
Yeah, they all give a boost.
but you got to take one.
It's more.
Yeah.
It's more like looking at your player that you have, and would that boost be more valuable to him at a specific rating that he's weak at, or would it be better to give it to a weaker player who can make him a slightly better into your starting lineup that you could use moving forward? So you got to kind of
Gotcha.
you got to kind of keep that thing in your head about it. Then the last one of our off-season thing is going to be the free agent frenzy. So this is basically right after the draft is done. I'm going to post up a thing called Lock Time. It's basically going to be a countdown. But there's a waiver wire. So the person who wins the Prospect Cup gets #1 waiver. And then it goes all the way down to the final, the champion. So the thing is that if that team doesn't want it, I'm going to state it out right away. And if you must respond, if you don't respond within, I don't know, by the end of the day kind of thing, you get knocked down to the bottom of the list. I'm not waiting around for it because there's other guys who are ready to jump on a player. And if you want that player, I understand that things are going on, but we'll run it like as a 12-hour kind of window or something. But it's up to you. But the thing is that if you say, no, I don't want it, just say pass. And then they'll go to the next guy. Because somebody might have a player that they want and they want to jump in, but they're waiting for 3 guys ahead of them. So once I say...
Okay, can I ask a question
Sure.
here? Clarify? So we went through everything, and then I find out I really want to get like some kind of, because it's kind of, they're not going to be top players, but I'm trying to think of a name right now. Robert Cron, will say, even though he's going to stay on the team, the Terminator. You see, Robert Cron, the second, is on the waiver wire. You're up. You can pick him, and then do you have to drop a player at the same time?
Correct. So you're basically your roster's already finalized right now at this point. But the thing is that if you see somebody that's on free agency, they're like, hey, you know what? He'd be actually really good for me to pick up because I looked at his career and he plays another 5 or 6 seasons longer than my guy who's potentially going to drop. I might want to do the swap now and not potentially lose out on him. So you have to be aware you're dropping a player to pick up that guy on free agent frenzy. Because I'm not giving anybody a 13 roster team, so everybody gets 12.
Yep. So okay, let's say that. So let's say the Oliver Nipples, he drops Robert Cron and picks up Sean Hill or whoever. Then the next person on the list has Robert Cron as an option, right?
Correct.
That's how that goes.
Correct.
Or do you have to play?
Correct. So it's just
Gotcha.
basically as long, and it's going to be on the Discord. It's going to say waiver wire, and if anybody puts any comments in there, it's getting deleted because I just want to be able to see who's putting in a waiver wire request. Because once the lock time is done, I'm locking the ROM and then I'm updating everything. I'm putting the rosters in, and then the season's going to start. So it's likely going to be a season. It's going to be likely a week after the regular draft because I don't think free agency should last longer than a week. And the way everything's going right now, I'm probably thinking, depending on how the playoff matchups go, we're probably looking at maybe mid-October or the last week of October for Season 2.
Groovy.
So it's everybody's choice in a way. But if the thing is, I know a few guys have already raised concerns about not being able to play. Halifax had mentioned to me, says time constraints, and we're not going to 7-minute periods. We're doing only 5 still. But we're gonna do 15-second shootout penalty shots. So I think 10 was a little fast. I think
You need a little bit, to trick. A couple times I was doing my dance and then it was over. I was like, oh, but yeah, no, that'll be good. That's good to add a little bit more there.
He had a penalty shot against me. He skated right by his puck and he had to go back, and the time had already started. So. Yeah, so basically during lock time, that's for you to send any updates that you want to your team. If you want to change your logo, I sent Blair an Oracle updated logo if he wanted to use it. We'll see if he wants to. Troy Hill Shockers, I sent him an option. I think it was kind of funny, but it looked like Mickey Mouse's hand.
Oh yeah, gross.
I know that Chris for Sammy Smith, he's moving to Charleston. So he's becoming the Charlestown Chiefs. And
Nice.
I think other than that, nobody else has put a request in to change their team or
Oh,
relocate.
Gaelic Gopher, the Moose was going to be the Minnesota Golden Gophers, I think.
Oh, he wants to go to the Golden Gophers?
I think he had,
Okay.
yeah,
Then we'll
he'd
do
be the
that.
first collegiate.
Well, then I'll switch him over because I just got to go to the list and update it. But after that, then I can update all the logos. I can update the rosters. I'm going to be changing some of the screens around, and I'll say it now. It doesn't.
Are you working?
Come again?
Are you working on my jersey request?
It's already done. I did it with G-Locks. G-Lock had a combination color that he wanted changed.
Love it.
So, surprisingly, this video lasted 55 minutes.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know
All
how long
right.
it's going to take YouTube to upload it, but we'll find out.
All right. Hey, thanks for all that you do, man. You are the best. Bringing joy to us middle-aged dorks.
Middle-aged
and
children.
We appreciate it.
Oh, you're the best!
King Rock. King Rock.